Smart has done some things for this team that have really shifted series. I mean, we saw it against Toronto in Game 7. If he doesn't make that play, they lose the series. So you're giving that up in terms of being a little better in the short term, having better fits in the short term, and having more flexibility in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, Smart's been great. I don't think there's any of this is a knock on him. I just think this is where the team is. They've gotten a little bit desperate, and they need to do something that's aggressive and, quote, desperate.
This is
I don't think I don't think they need to do anything desperate. I don't think trading Gordon for Smart is a desperate move. I think it's probably, at least this season, if you have to give up Smart and to get Gordon, it's not going to be seen as this major upgrade. It's going to be borderline lateral move, but it might be something that Danny Ainge thinks makes them better going into next season, and it might be a player that he sees.
And it shakes up the room now.
It's exactly. It could certainly help. I mean, it's not going to put them into the next echelon of teams, but what I'm saying is it might be something that Danny Ainge says, well, get a head start on next season at the very least. Get something going with these guys. Get them, see how they look together, and then he can make further adjustments and moves in the offseason. But Gordon might be a player that he's very interested in for all the reasons why we know he loves athletic wings who have a lot of potential, and I think Gordon still does have that. The fact that he's 25 is something that I think a lot of people forget. I mean, he is a young player. Again, he's been on these crappy Orlando teams with crappy guards around him, and I think that there is a little bit of maybe untapped potential that I would hope the Celtics could tap into a little bit. Putting the right guys out there with him. So, I just think it might, at the very least, maybe Gordon is a more tradable guy than Smart will be. Maybe people don't look at
the asset.
Let me ask you this.
Maybe there's more teams interested in acquiring Gordon, not just good teams or really good teams looking for, that final depth piece to put them over the top.
Let me ask you this. Could they do better for Smart later?
Yeah. That's what we keep talking about. This is, again,
I don't think you can.
Around the world on this, Bobby. Right now you've got 10 teams all looking to get better with about 2 to 3 impact players available, period. Okay. And so obviously now you're in a bidding war, which means you're going to probably overpay for this. And you're right. Could you get more for all of it? Again, Jimmy's been making this point all season. If Rob Williams plays himself into a place where he's like a legit stud by the end of the year or a piece, how much does his value increase over what it is after 40 games right now? If you get anything out of Romeo, if Neesmith starts to play and you see something, or if you, or whatever, all of
it's not going to happen.
I'm saying theoretically, the value
Romeo's
of your
alive.
pieces. The value of your pieces now. Many things could have great more value later when you're not competing with as many people all at once for such a small.
That's true, but is Smart going to have more value later?
You can't match contracts. I mean, like that's where Smart comes into play in that scenario, And
that's true too.
To your point,
John,
John,
not sign and trade Smart.
They're not going to be able to do sign and trades this offseason. I just the Tatum contract just blows them past that hard tax that would go into place.
To John's point, though, like those Romeos and Neesmiths, shit, if you can couple someone like that with Marcus Smart, then all of a sudden that package deal gets a lot better, right? You throw in a first round pick, it gets a lot better. Again, maybe Aaron Gordon right now is the best the Celtics can do, but next season, or during the offseason, maybe those values go up. One of those guys.
Well, yeah, let's consider this too.
You compare that with the draft picks, the future first.
Let's consider this too. If you trade Smart for Gordon straight up, that matches, as Josue just said. There's no TP involved whatsoever in that. Now you go into the tax. Do they want to do that? I don't know, but it would leave the full TP in place for the offseason. So that's another value of trading Smart, as he just mentioned. You wouldn't even have to touch a cent of that TP. You'd have the full $28 million for the offseason.
And are there any limitations to
Gordon
trading
better be your
Gordon?
guy then.
Once you acquire him, can you?
No. Over the offseason, they'd be good to trade him.
Right. So it's again when you were talking about value. I think I know John agrees with me. I don't know about you guys, but Marcus Smart's value I don't think will ever be much. I think we know who Marcus Smart is. I don't know if his value is going to increase a ton over the rest of his contract. I think he's worth. I'm not saying he's not worth his contract. I just don't think that he's going to turn into any different of a player than what he kind of is. He hasn't proven his playmaking, and I think that's probably where he's going to, I think he's. I mean, I guess I'll use the word peaked, but I think he's probably the player that we all know him to be. I can't imagine his worth going up or down a lot either way over the course of his remainder of his Celtics career. So if he's worth Aaron Gordon, then that's probably the type of player that you're going to get in return for Marcus Smart. Now, if you want to include picks and all this other stuff and add these other, assets in a deal for a bigger player, then that's the risk you take by holding on to him.
Well,
but you can theoretically include Gordon in that same trade.
Does it happen? I think no, and not because the Celtics don't try. I think the Celtics are going to get flat out bid because other teams have more attractive things to offer.
I agree. I don't think it's going to happen.
I think Denver's package that's being the one that they're considering, Boston can't match it. I don't care what they send.
Barton, let me guess. Barton,
Harris, young like RJ, and a first round pick. Boston can't come within miles of that.
So the Magic are pretty close to the tax, and the Nuggets trade would blow them into it, which I don't think they would love because of Barton or Harris, whoever they decide to include in there. The advantage that the Celtics could end up pulling out of this.
Fournier the TPE right now.
Yeah, so if you do like Neesmith and picks and just take Gordon on the TPE, that might be more valuable to the Magic, killing like $16 million in salary than Bol and the Nuggets pick. Like the Nuggets pick's gonna be worse than the Celtics, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think they have the advantage in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the
Nuggets going to be in the lottery.
The TP is a real advantage, and I said this about the Kings too, which we can probably still consider the Kings in play here. I know they're saying no, but I feel like that's still on the table to some degree. The Kings, the Magic, those teams can dump full salary, whether it's Barnes is 22 or Gordon's 18, and just take back like $2 million, which is a ginormous win for cap purposes, especially for the Kings if they want to go out and sign someone eventually.
Yeah. What's kind of a bummer is that the reports today that the Celtics, like, while their front runners on Gordon, that their number one prize is Barnes. So Gordon's a consolation prize, I guess, in this thing, which is.
No, because Barnes is better.
I believe that. I said to you guys, I think that's BS. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. No offense to whoever reported it, but the Celtics.
I've seen it a couple places actually, but anyway,
it was me.
They're trying to smoke out the Kings. Like the Kings are.
I don't believe the smoke
the Kings
out.
are a bunch of idiots that they think it's all fake.
I don't buy that. I just think they. I think they wanted Barnes. They just can't have him.
They might want Barnes, but honestly, pure potential or pure athleticism talent, doesn't Gordon seem like more of a Danny Ainge guy than Barnes? Younger?
Yeah.
Yes. I still don't know what Gordon does.
Yeah, but Barnes is better. Yeah, that's the point. We know Barnes is better.
Barnes is better, but Danny's never been the guy to always pick the better. I mean, look at his. I mean, and it's come back to bite him. Don't get me wrong, but he's always been the guy who's like in love with potential and athleticism, and that basically more than a steady guy. Maybe I don't know.
Well, it depends what you're giving up. So, like,
it does depend what you're giving up.
If we're talking Smart for Gordon, I think in that case, Danny might say this could end up being lateral if we miss Smart as a ball handler and Gordon comes in and isn't that great. If you're giving up like Neesmith for Barnes, I think you do that 1,000,000 times over 1,000,000 over Gordon for Smart, because that just instantly helps your team. You don't even have to wait for Barnes to develop or become.
I think everyone would agree with that.
And he's here for 3 years.
Did Neesmith not play tonight because he's possibly involved in a trade?
No, they
he's
love
possibly
Grant.
Forgotten.
Because this is again.
Was Neesmith going to guard Giannis? Come on.
No, geez, but my goodness, a game after you got him back in there with some minutes, and he actually hit a couple of shots to go to 0 again is baffling to me. 0.
You need every guy on a string against this team.
I told you that, John. When we were going through the schedule like a week ago, I was like, he's not going to play against the Bucks, but after that 2-game stretch, he'll come back and we'll see what he's got. We'll see how his progression is thus far, right?
Might have been a few more threes if he was out there on the other end.
The reason why I don't think it could happen is not so much that, like, if the Celtics really, really, really wanted Gordon, I mean, I think they could make it happen, but Danny Ainge isn't going to overpay for Aaron Gordon because he doesn't feel the way Bobby feels. I'm fully convinced in that. So That's why I don't think it's going to happen, because
So
he's
what,
not
like,
going to make a trade. He's not panicking. He's not going to make a desperation trade. He doesn't feel like he needs to make a trade to save the season. So that's why, I mean, if the Magic were looking to play a ball and meet them, kind of where they wanted to be, then I think they would make the trade. But if the Magic are looking to, play hardball and try to get every last drop out of a trade for Gordon, then you're right. I don't think the Celtics end up being the team that does it.
well, why is Woj out here and all these people saying the Celtics really want him? Like they want him so badly.
Ooh, Gordon?
Yeah. Like, if you're not going to give up what it takes to get a player in a trade, especially at this point where you really need to shake up this roster and add stuff for now and in the future, like, what are they doing? Like, they aren't in an advantageous position anymore. They have to give up value and go get a guy. That's where they're at. And you can keep saying they don't have the pieces to make it work, but
at the very least, it has to make you better.
the thing we don't think about is, what's the cost of doing nothing?
It has to make you better today, right? If you're not even sure it makes you better today, and you give up future assets that you could theoretically use in other trades, what are we doing? Like, if people are still torn on whether shipping out Smart for Gordon is bad, plus you're also going to give up a young player and a first-round pick, why even discuss it at that point? If it's a lateral move and you lose more assets, you're gaining nothing.
Because of what Jimmy mentioned, you need an asset for the long term.
I
You need a
agree
guy
with
that you
that.
can invest and grow in.
Yeah.
Like, this is the thing. They have a clock here. They can't just sit back and say, "Oh, we'll wait a couple years and see what's out there." The TP expires, Smart's gone, Tice gone, all the stuff that they could use right now and put together. Even your pick, which right now is in a better position than it was before.
You know what bugs me the most? And you're not wrong, but the Gordon thing popped off early in the week, and it was like, okay, they're close here. What's been depressing since then is there's been no momentum towards this appearing to be a deal that they're going to get done. And then no other names have popped off. In fact, names are falling off the list, like Barnes and Collins.
Yeah.
And nobody will even say Lonzo's name. Somebody give me a Lonzo rumor.
They're going to keep him. They're going to keep him.
Because he's staying put, right? Exactly. He's not going anywhere.
Just give me a Lonzo rumor.
I'll tweet one out. It'll be fake.
Give me something to get excited about tomorrow. I don't want to spend. And guys, we're going live tomorrow at 2:00, right up to the trade deadline at 3 for anybody watching. So please join us there. We're going to take you right into the trade deadline and after, in case anything happens. And if nothing happens, we'll still talk and we'll
freak out.
We'll grieve together
and start fighting.
We'll fight. Bobby's gonna
be.
You do not want to be around Bobby tomorrow. Trust me.
If they do nothing, oh Lord, they're gonna have to put an emoji over my face.
Right.
No, he's gonna get mad when the trade machine crashes. That's when he's gonna get mad.
I need to wake up tomorrow to something new, some new buzz, because there's
gonna be buzz.
If all that's happening is a Gordon trade, I'm not even sure I want to see. Like, it's like I still don't even know how to feel if it goes down, but. I'm at the point where change for the sake of change might even be good. So that's why I would do the Smart for Gordon swap there. But I don't know. I mean, I'm still not certain.
Hey, I wouldn't be happy with a couple of picks and whatever for Barnes at this point. I really don't think that's off the table.
I'm happy that we got. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Gordon. How do Magic fans feel about Gordon? I imagine they probably like Gordon, right? I mean, he's been a guy that's given them some entertainment over the years, at the very least.
No, they're probably frustrated.
Are there Magic fans? Do Magic fans exist, or are they like Heat fans?
Yeah, the dunk contest was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So they asked him yesterday. Someone actually asked him about the trade rumors, and he answered it. He said he's just been so frustrated with the situation there. Like they put such a load on him because of all the injuries. They haven't gotten anyone. They haven't gone anywhere. They've made a couple playoffs, but it's just not a good situation. And that's the hope here. You really hope that he becomes the fourth, fifth option on a team and just flourishes as a cutting dunker, as a off-ball shooter. Defensively is what you're really banking in on. I wouldn't even over fixate on the offense, because defensively is where you hope he's going to improve you. Play him at some 5. Let him defend 4s. Here's the thing about.
I know, but again, the thing
we haven't mentioned this. And it does matter. Smart's like 6'3", 200 something. This guy's 6'8", 245, real power, jacked out of his mind.
I've mentioned
he's got
100 times.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
But
Jimmy did the good work.
Here's my only
Thank you.
concern with Gordon. I know he's only 25, which is great because that sounds like a young player. He's been in the league for 7 years, and he's still the same guy. Has his game taken a major leap forward in any of the last 4 years, 5 years? He's the same guy.
Who's been his best
So
point
I
guard?
don't know. I
That's
think
the thing.
anybody
He's got
trade-
no good guards, right?
and I think, and again, maybe there's something that can unlock it, but at the end of the day, I mean, everyone, if the Celtics trade for Gordon, you have to accept the fact that that's who you're getting. Like I don't know that there's a next level. You're getting a guy who's an okay shooter, but for his career, about 33% from three. Granted, he's flashing this year, but I also think that's fool's gold. He averages about 13 points a game. He's fine, but he doesn't have an elite skill set at anything.
What's Marcus Smart's elite skills?
He doesn't have it either. That's the thing is,
All right, then.
How about the 20th pick in next year's draft? What's his skill set?
right? So you're trading.
Yeah.
You're trading either for fit or for projection, but not for any sort of guarantee.
Or asset management in the future. I mean, teams around the league obviously like this guy and want him, and there's been buzz around him forever. And if he really starts to flourish in Boston, that's your next step on the ladder toward making the move. And I've said this over and over again. You don't want to go into the offseason with $28 million of that TPE intact for various reasons. You want to have part of it to use and part of it in the bank on a real player for salary matching purposes. Like, there's lots and lots of limitations on this team in the offseason. They're going to make it extremely hard to get the full value of that $28 million. So, like, everyone keeps thinking they can wait. The team keeps saying, "Oh, we're gonna wait," and I just look at their books and their situation and say,
like I said, I'm doing it if it's there. I'm doing it if it's there, and then you hope for the best.